Hi there, Gordon Smith here from gordonsmithblog.com. I'd like to speak to you today about making your copy more effective, about keeping the attention of your audience, and of course that leads to higher conversions. In addition to strong calls to action, metadata and grammatically correct copy on each page of your website, it's important that the copy itself is written to attract and hold the reader's attention. You have perhaps 2 or 3 seconds to grab your visitor's interest, and if you don't, they're gone. So you need to make sure your copy is the best it can be from the start. Make it compelling and full of benefits. Here are a few quick tips. Leave yourself out of it. Remember that your website is all about your prospects, so put yourself on the back burner. Of course, it's important that you include yourself in the About Me page. You want to be able to tell a story that your audience will engage with and that you can establish credibility and trust with your audience about. But the main thing is to focus on the ideal customer and remember the purpose of your writing. I mean, what is the reason for this particular page? Is it to build a list? Is it to establish trust and credibility with an email list you already have? Is it to make sales, or is it to increase conversions, or is it simply to educate? Whatever the reason for the purpose behind your page, this is going to play a big part in how you're going to approach it. Okay. It's important that you know your audience. You want to try and find out from your audience what they need from you and why they need it. How do you solve their problems or relieve the pain that they're experiencing? That's what your copy needs to focus on. What do they want from you? What problem are they having that you have the solution to? You have to think also about how you can present that solution effectively according to the level of sophistication of your audience. I mean, the audience that you're targeting, is it an audience, for example, in the internet marketing niche who are used to receiving offers all the time? It would be more difficult to sell to them perhaps. You would maybe put your offer in a different way than you would from someone who may be in a niche that very rarely gets offers. You've got to kind of understand the level of sophistication of your prospect. Okay, depending to the answer in this question will play a great part in how you will pitch your offer. So you want to see your offer through the prospect's eyes. You want to look for the reason behind the reason. Look at your service and product and think, what is this going to do for them? They don't want a drill, they want a hole in the wall. Look at how your product is going to give them what they need. Look beyond the obvious reason. For example, the obvious reason for building a list might be so that you will have a ready-made list that you can drive traffic. But the reason beyond the reason is that you want to make money. And the reason beyond that reason is you want to have time and money freedom. And so do your prospects. So this is the reason that you want to address. The reason that lies behind the reason. The real deep-seated psychological need that they have, which will probably be similar to your own, and that's the reason that you want to address. List the benefits first of all. List the features first of all. Get them emotionally involved in why they want the product, and that's pretty much what I was speaking about earlier when we address the reason behind the reason. People buy for emotional reasons. If you think about it, sometimes we don't buy the things that we really need, but we always buy the things that we really want. And then after we've bought it, we'll look for the benefits in buying that particular thing. We justify that we really needed it, when in fact we didn't really. But we had an emotional pull that made us want to buy that. So use verbs and adjectives to show them that they'll get what they want with your product. Try and paint a picture of what your product or service does for your prospects. If they can imagine themselves using your product and getting the results they're looking for, they're practically sold. I'm sure you have seen the websites with the photos of fancy cars and luxurious houses and 5-star vacations. I mean, who doesn't want that? We all want it. Your prospect wants it just as much as you want it. And it's an emotional trigger. So this is the objective that we have. Have an objective for each web page and write your copy to achieve that objective. Try and be very specific and deal directly with the solution that you're providing. Show your prospect, make it crystal clear that the problem that is holding them back from achieving those deep-seated desires, that your product has a solution to it. You're going to show them the way to get that big fancy house, those fancy cars and those 5-star vacations. Don't be too serious about it though as well. Let your personality shine through. Show them that you're a real person just like them. And don't be afraid to tell a story to illustrate what your prospects need to know about your product and yourself. Tell a story about how your solution worked for you. And if it's possible, if you can provide testimonials, then that's great. There's nothing like social proof to back up the pitch, because that's what it is. So we want to paint a picture in the mind of our prospect, and we want to give them proof that this solution really works. Remember that first of all, we want to get ourselves emotionally involved with our prospect. So use adjectives that describe the dark place you were in and the frustration you felt, the crushing pain of it all, and then the brightness, the happiness you felt as the weight was lifted off your shoulders. You felt light as a feather and you couldn't stop smiling as it all came together. I hope you can see from this very short presentation some ways where you can be more of a person to your prospect. Remember as well that people buy from people they like. They like people like themselves. So make yourself the same, because you probably are anyway, as most of your prospects. Look for the things that you want. Look for the obvious and sometimes not so obvious reason behind the reason of what your prospects want. And I'm sure this will help to improve your copy and to improve your conversions as well. I hope this has helped. Gordon Smith from Gordon Smith's blog saying goodbye. Speak to you later.